in the visitor experience department, and that is everything that the visitor would experience when they're here. Events, exhibits, education, all of it. And so I have been working on creating community projects where we bring art and the stories of science up to Chabot. I started to look at science and the way that we think about science when I was in school. I studied the history and philosophy of science. I really was thinking about how science affects us and how we tell the stories of science and change because of that. I started looking at literature. I loved to read, I was thinking about the stories that we were telling about ourselves and nature, and why would we use specific words, or why would we, it was particularly about women at the time, why would we use this terminology to talk about women and the way that they do things, and female parts of flowers in, so I was really examining what is the language that we use around that and why, and then what are the stories we tell. So I focused on science mostly. So I moved from literature over to the history of science. My professors in college, when I was doing my PhD work, they were very open to different ways of thinking, and they were focused on looking at the way that people within different histories looked at science. Women was a focus of mine, obviously, and Eastern and Western philosophy. So they were really talking about very different ideas of what we are and why we think the way that we do, and that opened me up to a whole world of reading and talking about different things, and it was really exciting at that time. They say, well, how did you get to your job, and you like books and literature, and why are you in a science museum? And yeah, but it's stories, and this is about the stories that we tell about the world, and I think that that's a really important topic for me, because when you look at the story and you look at it very closely, you understand that it is a story, and there are things that are very real in that story, but there are also all these different interpretations. There are people who come to science through art, there are people who come to science through literature, like me, and there are people who just love straight science or math. And there are so many ways to come into it and to bring your unique perspective, and that was a wonderful part of this for me. I've worked here for almost 9 years now, and I can see that there are so many different kinds of kids who love learning about science and seeing science, and I think that it is just that, what I said. It's so important to understand that your unique perspective is not only valid, but it's so important to the science that we're going to do and the world that we're going to create in the future through science. It needs all of these creative thinkers and different kinds of thinkers. Girls are particular kinds of thinkers, but because they're individuals. It's not just that you're a girl, you're an individual and you're unique, and whatever it is that you're passionate about, you're going to bring that to what you're studying. So focus on that, whatever it is that you love and you feel excited about, and it will lead you to different things.